Welcome to the deep dive. Have you ever noticed how some people just seem to, well, glide through life's challenges?
Oh, absolutely.
They
Right.
face a setback, and somehow they're not just coping, they seem to bounce back, maybe even stronger. It can look like some kind of superpower, can't it?
It really can. But the fascinating thing is it's often less about some secret power and more about a skill you can build. We're talking about positive thinking.
Okay.
So today we're going to, pull back the curtain a bit on what true positivity really means, why it's actually so important, and then give you four practical steps to build this positivity muscle yourself.
That sounds like exactly the kind of deep dive we need. But before we get into how to build it, maybe we should clear something up first. A common misunderstanding.
Good point. Yes. When we talk positivity, we are definitely not talking about like ignoring real feelings or just papering over problems.
Right. Not that toxic positivity thing you hear about.
Precisely. We need to draw a line between genuine positivity and, yeah, toxic positivity. True positivity isn't about pretending everything's fine when it's not. It's not that dismissive, oh, just cheer up when someone's really struggling.
It's not like handing someone a glittery Band-Aid for a really deep wound.
Exactly. That's toxic positivity. It dismisses real pain. True positivity, though, it's about looking challenges right in the eye, acknowledging them, but then choosing to focus your energy on solutions, on growth, on hope. Even when things are tough, it's realistic, but still, resilient.
That distinction feels incredibly important,
Yeah.
especially now. I mean, it feels like we're constantly swimming in information, juggling demands, sometimes just feeling overwhelmed is the new normal, right?
You're absolutely right. The pace of life, the news cycle, social media, it all adds up. It creates this background level of stress for so many people. So cultivating a positive mindset isn't just like a nice extra. It's really a crucial tool for navigating all this complexity.
And the effects, they go way beyond just feeling a bit better, don't they? We're talking real, tangible benefits
Right.
for your physical health, your mental state, relationships, even how productive you are.
And even potentially how long you live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's start with the physical side, which is pretty remarkable. When you adopt a more positive outlook, you can actually strengthen your immune system.
Okay, how does that actually work? Biologically, I mean.
Well, it really gets down to the mind-body connection. See, chronic negative thinking tends to pump up stress hormones, especially cortisol. That's the main stress chemical.
Right.
And if that cortisol is high all the time, it can suppress your immune function. Positive thinking helps regulate those hormones so your immune response gets stronger. You might actually get sick less often.
Less stress, stronger defenses. Makes sense. And speaking of stress, doesn't that also link to better sleep? I think I read something about gratitude, Robert Emmons's work.
Yes, absolutely. Emmons is a key researcher here. Gratitude is a huge part of positivity. When you practice it regularly, you shift your focus away from worry and anxiety. It calms your nervous system down, activates that rest and digest mode. It balances out brain chemistry, things like serotonin, and just creates a more peaceful headspace for, good deep sleep. It's a powerful shift neurologically.
Wow, like a whole system reset. And I guess if your immune system is better, you're sleeping better, you probably have fewer of those random aches and pains too.
That often follows, yes. But the benefits definitely don't stop at the physical. What about mental well-being?
Right.
Mentally, keeping positivity up helps keep those cortisol levels down, like we said, and it has a big impact on mood. Emmons' research again suggests gratitude can boost overall happiness by, well, potentially as much as 25%.
25%,
Right.
that's significant.
It really is. Imagine what that feels like day to day.
Yeah. And I've heard positive thinking described as like strength training for your brain. How does it build resilience?
It helps you reframe things. So setbacks aren't dead ends. They become temporary hurdles, maybe even chances to learn something. It's not about pretending challenges don't hurt, but about choosing a response that looks for solutions, that helps you bounce back faster and adapt better next time. You become more mentally agile, sort of.
And that agility, that sort of outlook, it seems like it spills over into relationships too. Positive people just seem easier to be around, maybe.
They often do. There's a kind of energetic difference, you could say. Positive folks tend to be more approachable, maybe more empathetic, more present. They listen better, offer support, and they're generally not dragging conversations down with negativity. It just makes them more engaging.
Yeah, you think of someone like Tom Hanks. He just seems to have this warm, down-to-earth vibe, like despite being hugely famous. He comes across as humble, kind, approachable.
Exactly. Or Michelle Obama, her whole public presence is about warmth, strength, messages of hope, lifting people up.
Mm.
She connects with people deeply, not just with words, but through initiatives like let's move or reach higher. That positive vision she projects, it really sparks connection, sparks change.
Yeah, good example.
They show how that genuine positive core can build real, authentic connections. It's not about faking cheerfulness. It's about an inner way of engaging that prioritizes connection and, well, being
Okay.
constructive.
Okay, so better health, better resilience,
Yeah.
better relationships. What about performance? Like learning, productivity?
Cognitively, yeah, the brain just works better when it's in a positive state. Your prefrontal cortex, the bit responsible for planning, problem solving, that sort of thing, it's more active.
Ah,
So that leads to sharper thinking, better analytical skills. You're more open to new ideas, more creative even.
in memory, too, I definitely notice when I'm really stressed, things get fuzzy.
That's classic. High stress hormones can actually interfere with how you form memories and recall them. A more positive, relaxed state lets your brain lock in new information better and retrieve it more easily. It really is a performance enhancer for the mind.
So positivity isn't just about feeling good. It's about thinking better, performing better. Wow. And you mentioned lifespan. That almost sounds a bit too good to be true.
It sounds pretty amazing, I know, but there's solid research behind it. A big study, I think it was in PNAS, found that the most optimistic people lived up to 15% longer than the least optimistic.
15%, that's a lot of extra time.
Yeah.
What's the mechanism there?
It kind of comes back to that chronic stress and inflammation idea. Negative thinking keeps that stress response switched on, right? Flooding your system or cortisol, but also these inflammatory things, cytokines, IL-6, TNF-alpha. And over time, that chronic inflammation damages cells. It can shorten telomeres, those little caps on our DNA linked to aging, and it raises the risk for age-related diseases. Positivity acts like a buffer. It lowers the stress hormones, dampens the inflammation, keeps cells healthier, basically slowing down aging at a really fundamental level.
So it's not just a fountain of youth for your brain, but kind of for your whole body. That's a really compelling reason to work on this. But okay, how do we actually do it? It's one thing to say be positive, quite another to put it into practice when things are hard.
Right, and that's where the muscle idea comes back. It is trainable, like going to the gym, but for your mindset. We've broken it down into 4 practical steps you can actually start doing.
Okay, I'm ready. Step 1.
Step 1, master your inner dialogue. We all have that voice in our head, right? The internal commentator. And sometimes it's super critical. I'm not good enough. I'll mess this up. The first step is just to become aware, to notice those negative thoughts when they pop up, without judging yourself for having them.
It's amazing how those loops can just run on autopilot sometimes.
They really can. But you can interrupt them. There's a handy technique called the STOP method. When you catch yourself in that negative spiral, okay, stop. Just pause whatever you're doing. Take a deep breath, really intentional. Observe your thoughts and feelings. Just notice them like clouds passing. And then proceed. Choose a more positive or constructive thought, or even just an action that aligns with one.
Okay, so if I'm thinking, I'm totally bombing this project,
Good job.
stop, breathe, acknowledge, okay, feeling stressed about this,
Yeah.
and then P, proceed with something like, this is tough, but I'm learning as I go and I'm making progress.
Exactly. You're not denying the challenge, but you're actively redirecting your brain towards a perspective that's more helpful, more empowering. Do that consistently, and you literally start rewiring those neural pathways. The positive route becomes more automatic over time.
That sounds like real cognitive training. Okay, what's step 2?
Step 2 is practicing gratitude. And this isn't just about feeling warm and fuzzy. It's a really powerful way to counteract something psychologists call hedonic adaptation. It's our tendency to get used to good things really quickly, so they stop feeling special, and then we're always looking for the next thing. Gratitude kind of anchors us back in appreciating what we already have.
Ah, so it keeps us valuing the present. What's the easiest way to get started with that?
A gratitude journal is probably the simplest. Every day, just jot down maybe 3 specific things you're genuinely thankful for. Could be tiny, a great cup of coffee, a nice chat with someone, the sun shining, specificity helps. Or, you could write thank you notes to people who've made a difference.
Okay, but what about when something really bad happens? Like, say, losing your job. How do you practice gratitude then, without it feeling totally fake or forced?
Yeah, that's where that crucial true versus toxic positivity line comes in again. It's definitely not about being grateful for the layoff. That would be absurd. It's about searching for the potential opportunity that might emerge from that difficult situation. Maybe it's a chance to pivot careers, learn something new, maybe reevaluate what's important. It's asking yourself, okay, this is awful right now, but what good could eventually come out of this? It's a subtle shift, but it's profound, finding hope within the chaos.
That feels much more real, more doable. Okay, on to step 3,
Step 3 is all about protecting your energy and intentionally building positive relationships, creating a supportive ecosystem, basically.
which can be tricky if you feel like you're surrounded by negativity sometimes.
It starts small, little choices. Give a genuine compliment. Really listen when someone's talking. Don't just wait to speak. Offer a hand if you see someone struggling. These little things, they create positive ripples. But crucially, pay attention to who you spend your time with. Make an effort to nurture connections with friends, colleagues, family who lift you up, who inspire you, who support your growth.
So being more intentional about your inner circle.
Absolutely. And the flip side of that is setting clear boundaries with people or situations that are energy drains. You know, the ones that consistently leave you feeling depleted mentally or emotionally. Protecting your mental space isn't selfish, it's essential.
Yeah.
And maybe actively seek out communities too. Groups that share your interests or values, a book club, a sports team, volunteering. These networks offer built-in encouragement and positivity.
That makes a lot of sense. Build your positive bubble.
Hmm.
Okay, what's the 4th and final step?
Step 4 is about maintaining positivity daily, weaving it into the very fabric of your routine so it becomes less of an effort and more of a habit.
How do you make that happen without it feeling like just another thing on the to-do list?
Start your day deliberately. Before you grab your phone and potentially dive into emails, or worse, doom scrolling through bad news.
Oh,
Huh? Yeah, most of us are. Just take maybe 60 seconds to think of a few things you're grateful for. It sets a totally different tone for the day. Then, throughout the day, be mindful of what you're consuming. Filter out excessive negativity. Maybe limit news intake. Unfollow social media accounts that consistently bring you down or stir up drama.
so actively curating your mental diet, basically.
Exactly, and keep practicing that perspective flip we talked about, seeing problems not as roadblocks, but as detours that might lead somewhere interesting, opportunities for growth, like the layoff becoming a potential fresh start.
Right.
And lastly, don't underestimate your physical space. Add things to your home or workspace that make you feel good, that inspire you. Plants, maybe. Uplifting music. Meaningful photos or quotes. Make your environment somewhere you actually want to be. It reinforces the internal state.
Those are really practical, doable steps. It really brings home that positivity isn't just this vague mood. It's a skill you can actively practice and improve.
It absolutely is. And when you commit to practicing it, the long-term benefits are, well, pretty huge.
Okay, as we start to wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly run through some of those key ideas again, make sure they're crystal clear. We talked about positivity itself.
Right. Positivity, essentially, is that hopeful, constructive way of looking at life, acknowledging the tough stuff, but choosing to focus on solutions and growth.
And we made a clear distinction from toxic positivity.
Yeah, which is that harmful thing of forcing fake happiness, ignoring real difficult feelings, basically telling someone their valid pain doesn't matter, just be happy.
Ugh. Got it. And we saw how positive thinking impacts the immune system.
Which is your body's natural defense force against getting sick. Being more positive helps regulate stress hormones, which in turn lets your immune system do its job better.
Then there was gratitude.
Which is simply feeling and maybe expressing thanks for the good things, big or small. It helps you appreciate what you have and counters that tendency to always want more.
And the inner dialogue.
That little voice inside your head, your stream of thoughts. Learning to catch and challenge the negative self-talk in that dialogue is key.
And finally, energy drain.
Yeah, anything, a person, a situation, even a habit that consistently leaves you feeling wiped out or low. Identifying those and setting boundaries is vital for protecting your positive energy.
Okay, great recap. So thinking about all that, quick reflection question for you listening. What happens to your body when you consistently think more positively?
Well, based on what we discussed, you lower those stress hormones, you boost your immune function, and you tend to sleep better.
Spot on. And what's the main difference again between real positivity and toxic positivity?
Real positivity faces challenges constructively, while toxic positivity just plasters over real feelings with fake happiness.
Perfect. And last one. What's one super simple habit you can start today to help train your brain towards more positivity?
Starting that gratitude journal, just 3 specific good things each day. Easy to do, big impact.
You got it. Okay, so with all that in mind, we want to issue a little challenge. Think of it as your 7-day positivity practice.
Right. So for days 1 and 2, maybe start that gratitude journal. 3 specific things each day you appreciate. anything counts.
Then, days 3 and 4, really tune into that inner dialogue. When you catch a negative thought, consciously use that STOP method we talked about to observe and reframe it.
Days 5 and 6, focus outwards a bit. Spread some positive energy. Give someone a genuine compliment. Maybe properly listen to a friend without interrupting, or offer a small act of help.
And then on day 7, just take a few minutes to reflect. How did the week feel? Did you notice any shifts in your mood, your thoughts, maybe even how you interacted with people?
Sounds like a week that could really kickstart something positive.
It really could. Remember, folks, working on a positive mindset isn't just for a quick mood lift. It's a serious investment in your long-term health, your relationships, your overall life quality, maybe even how long you stick around. And these steps, they're actionable. You really can build that positivity muscle.
It boils down to choosing, again and again, to engage with life in a way that fosters your own growth and resilience.
So, as you go about the rest of your day, here's a final thought to chew on. What's one small, concrete, positive change you could make in your immediate environment, or maybe in your daily routine, starting right now? Something that will act as a little anchor, a reminder, reinforcing the positive mindset you're working on building. Give that some thought. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.
We'll catch you next time.